Welcome to a deep dive into the current state of Canada. Canada, often celebrated for its high quality of life, strong social safety net, and multicultural society, is not immune to the challenges facing many developed nations. In recent years, several warning signs have surfaced, indicating that the country could be heading towards serious challenges. Today, we'll look at 10 warning signs that Canada may be facing serious problems. We'll also discuss what steps can be taken to address them. No country is without its flaws, but Canada appears to be publicly exposing its challenges on a grand scale. To provide you with a comprehensive analysis, we've gathered data from various sources, including Statistics Canada, the Fraser Institute, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the Global Footprint Network, the OECD, the World Economic Forum, and the Conference Board of Canada. This is going to be an eye-opener. Make sure to watch until the end.
Let's start with the backbone of any nation, its economy. Canada's economic backbone is looking a bit weak. We're discussing slow economic growth, which is notably sluggish and challenging for economic progress. Canada's economy has been facing slow growth with GDP growth rates hovering around 1.5% to 2% annually in recent years, below the global average for developed countries. Economic stagnation has been accompanied by rising income inequality, with the wealthiest Canadians capturing a growing share of the nation's income. According to Statistics Canada, the top 1% of Canadians control nearly 14% of the country's wealth. Meanwhile, wage growth has been sluggish, particularly for middle and lower income earners. This sluggish growth is paired with rising unemployment, which often leads to a decline in the standard of living. Less money in people's pockets means less spending, which means businesses suffer. The economy needs a hefty dose of diversification and innovation.
According to the Fraser Institute, budget deficits and growing debt have recently become significant fiscal challenges for both the federal and many provincial governments. Since 2007-2008, the combined federal and provincial net debt, adjusted for inflation, has nearly doubled, rising from $1.18 trillion to an estimated $2.18 trillion in 2023-2024. This surge in debt is driven by increased government spending on social programs and infrastructure, coupled with slower economic growth. As a result, the country faces a growing financial burden, with a significant portion of the budget now going toward interest payments. Future generations will bear a greater burden as a result of Canada's mounting debt, which also restricts its financial flexibility. As the government works to manage this growing debt, future generations may see more taxes or less public services.
Politics, eh? It's a topic that can spark heated debates and passionate discussions, especially here in Canada. From the bustling streets of Ottawa to the quiet corners of the countryside, political conversations are everywhere. It's enough to make you want to escape to a remote cabin, far from the noise and chaos. Picture the serenity of the Canadian wilderness, where the only arguments are between the birds and the wind. In Canada, the political climate is characterized by tension, confusion, and unpredictability, reflecting a landscape marked by conflicting viewpoints and discord. We are seeing strong political divisions that go beyond just having different opinions. This split deeply impacts all parts of our society, including healthcare, education, environmental policies, and economic strategies. These disagreements are widespread and affect many aspects of public life. There is more to this problem than just disagreement. It discusses the fundamental principles and ideals that form our sense of national identity and the Canada we wish to leave for the next generation. This is about fundamental differences in values, priorities, and visions for the future of Canada. It's a battle of ideologies that plays out in every election, every policy debate, and every public forum. It causes gridlock in government where important policies get stuck. Progress moves very slowly, if at all, as politicians argue and can't agree. Trust in institutions is eroding, leading to increased doubt about the political system. Many individuals feel discouraged, thinking their opinions are overlooked and their votes lack significance. This rising distrust can create significant challenges for our society. The political scene in Canada feels like a hockey game that's gotten out of control. There's a lot of passion and intensity, and sometimes it gets a bit messy. But just like in hockey, there's also hope that we can come together, fix the problems, and build a better future for everyone.
Now, let's talk about healthcare. While Canada's publicly funded healthcare system is a source of national pride, it is under increasing strain. Long wait times, shortages of medical professionals, and outdated infrastructure are major concerns. We are discussing significant delays in healthcare services, where patients often face long wait times. It is not uncommon for individuals to wait months for specialist appointments or elective surgeries. These prolonged delays can be exceedingly frustrating and, in some cases, pose serious risks to those requiring urgent medical attention. Such extended wait times can exacerbate health conditions, leading to deteriorating outcomes and increased strain on the overall healthcare system. Healthcare professionals, including doctors and nurses, are feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. With too many patients assigned to each staff member, these workers face significant pressure. This strain not only raises their stress levels, but also impacts their ability to deliver high-quality care to patients. The system is struggling to keep up with the demands of an aging population. As the number of elderly patients grows, the strain on healthcare services intensifies, making it harder to deliver timely and effective care. It's clear that the current system is under immense strain. The increasing demand for healthcare services, coupled with limited resources, creates a challenging environment for both patients and providers. If significant changes and investments are not made soon, the system will inevitably fail. There is an urgent need for a complete review and update to guarantee that it can serve the community effectively and sustainably in the future.
Let's talk about housing. Canada's housing market has seen explosive price growth, particularly in cities like Toronto and Vancouver, making home ownership unaffordable for many. Rental markets have also tightened, with vacancy rates at historic lows. As of 2023, the average home price in Canada was over $700,000, more than double the average from a decade ago. In major cities, housing costs consume over 50% of the average household income. The rental market is equally challenging. This housing crisis is fueled by low interest rates, foreign investment, limited supply, and speculation. The housing crisis is leading to increased homelessness, financial stress, and a potential outflow of young talent who cannot afford to live in Canada's urban centers.
Immigration is vital to Canada's growth, but it is also presenting new challenges. The country's capacity to integrate newcomers is being stretched thin, with housing shortages, unemployment, and rising cultural tensions becoming increasingly problematic. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, the demand for affordable housing far exceeds supply, leaving many immigrants struggling to find stable accommodations. Employment is another issue, as many newcomers face barriers like unrecognized foreign credentials and language difficulties, leading to underemployment. Cultural tensions are also emerging as rapid demographic changes can sometimes lead to misunderstandings and conflicts between different groups. While Canada prides itself on multiculturalism, the strain on social cohesion is evident in some areas. A report from the Conference Board of Canada warns that without improved integration policies, these issues will only worsen. It highlights the need for better support in housing, employment, and social integration to ensure that immigrants can fully contribute to Canadian society. If these challenges are not addressed, the positive impacts of immigration could be undermined by growing social and economic pressures.
Now let's talk about the environment. Even countries as naturally stunning as Canada aren't immune to the wrath of Mother Nature. We're talking climate change, folks. Melting glaciers, forest fires, and unpredictable weather are just the start. These issues signal broader climate change impacts, including rising sea levels, more severe storms, and disruptions to wildlife and agriculture. Each problem contributes to a complex set of challenges that require urgent global action.
Now, let's talk about education. It's a cornerstone of our society, shaping the future of our children and, by extension, our nation. Canada's education system is generally strong, but it faces challenges such as disparities in access, rising costs of higher education, and a mismatch between skills taught and labor market needs. Schools are scrambling for resources, teachers are overworked, and students are crammed into overcrowded classrooms. Picture a teacher trying to give individual attention to 30 or more students. It's a Herculean task. In higher education, the average student loan debt in Canada is $28,000, adding to a total national student loan debt of over $23.5 billion. Debt levels among borrowers are influenced by factors such as gender, age, location, and field of study. Consequently, many individuals face the dilemma of being unable to afford higher education while simultaneously struggling with the financial burden of attending. According to Statistics Canada, more than half of Canadians with undergraduate degrees carry student loan debt. Canada's education system is also grappling with issues of inequality. Not every student has the same opportunities, and this gap is widening. Significant disparities in quality and outcomes exist between different provinces and even within individual schools. Some schools have state-of-the-art facilities, while others struggle to provide basic necessities. This inequality affects students' futures and perpetuates a cycle of disadvantage. However, it's not all doom and gloom. There are pockets of excellence where students thrive, thanks to dedicated teachers and adequate resources. These success stories show us what is possible when education is prioritized. Communities are coming together to advocate for better funding and policies. Parents, teachers, and students are raising their voices, demanding the quality education that every child deserves. The goal is clear: to ensure that every student, regardless of where they live or their background, has access to a high-quality education.
Now, let's talk about demographics. Canadians are aging at an accelerating rate, presenting significant demographic challenges for the country. In 2022, Canada's population grew by just 0.8%, one of the lowest rates in recent history. With the median age rising to 41 years and more Canadians entering retirement than entering the workforce, the pressure on social services and the economy is intensifying. Statistics Canada predicts that by 2030, seniors will make up nearly 25% of the population.
Finally, let's talk about Canada's place on the world stage. Canada's international competitiveness is slipping, with declining rankings in global innovation, ease of doing business, and productivity. This is partly due to high taxes, regulatory burdens, and underinvestment in research and development. Canada is no longer the peacekeeper, the honest broker, the good guy everyone wants on their team. Some might argue that Canada is simply adapting to a changing world, but others worry that Canada is losing its voice and moral authority.
Canada is undoubtedly facing significant challenges that, if left unaddressed, could lead to a gradual deterioration of its economic and social fabric. While Canada is facing significant challenges, it also has the potential to adapt and thrive. To address Canada's challenges, a multifaceted approach is essential. Economic reform should foster innovation, support small businesses, and reduce inequality. Housing policy needs zoning reforms and investment in affordable housing. Healthcare requires expanded funding, shorter wait times, and solutions for professional shortages. Environmental action must involve ambitious climate goals. Political unity can be achieved through dialogue to bridge divides and combat polarization. Infrastructure must be modernized to meet future needs. Education and training should align with labor market demands and reduce costs. Lastly, enhancing competitiveness involves streamlining regulations and boosting R&D investment. These issues are not exhaustive, but highlight key areas requiring urgent attention to prevent further decline. With proactive policies, strong leadership, and a commitment to equity and sustainability, Canada can overcome these issues and ensure a prosperous future for all its citizens. However, the road ahead requires careful planning, decisive action, and a collective effort to build a stronger, more resilient nation. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more content.